सलाम जहां।
वेलकम बैक नाजरीन, आप देख रहे हैं प्रोग्राम सलाम जहां। ये प्रोग्राम रहम टीवी के चैनल 1593 पर जादू बॉक्स पर आप हर हफ्ते न्यूयॉर्क से देख सकते हैं। इसके अलावा ये प्रोग्राम हमारी वेबसाइट रहम.tv पर भी आप देख सकते हैं और फेसबुक पर भी ये प्रोग्राम नशर किया जाता है। हमारे साथ तीन यंगस्टर्स जो कि अपनी अपनी फील्ड के मास्टर हैं, वो हमारे पास बैठे हुए हैं और हेल्थ केयर के बारे में बातचीत हो रही है। वी ऑल नो कि हेल्थ केयर का जो इशू है वो कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है और उसको डील करने के लिए हमें एक्सपर्ट्स के पास हर वक्त जाना होता है। हमारे साथ सारा इमादी जो हेल्थ एजुकेटर हैं, ये एक ऐसी चीज़ थी जो मेरे लिए नई तो नहीं थी लेकिन इंटरेस्टिंग बहुत थी कि सारा इमादी हेल्थ एजुकेटर जो है ये इन्होंने बहुत सी बातें हमें बताई। सारा आपने जो बातें बताई तो मैंने कहा था मैं आपसे कुछ सवाल पूछूंगा उस सिलसिले में। एक तो ये बताइए कि ये जो इमोशनल और सोशल केयर है स्टूडेंट्स की, ये इसकी थोड़ी सी मुझे एक्सप्लेनेशन चाहिए क्योंकि मेरे जहन में इमोशनल जो बातें हैं ना उसमें कुछ और भी सवाल आते हैं।
Sure. I think when a lot of people think about being healthy, they automatically think of eating your fruits and vegetables, not eating junk food, going to the gym and exercising, not smoking, things like that, which are more obvious physical components of being healthy.
Right.
Unfortunately, issues such as depression, anxiety, stress,
Yes.
Mental and emotional abuse. So, for example, we discuss within the high school dating relationships.
You deal with all that?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Violence within relationships, looking out for if you're in a healthy or an unhealthy relationship. Resources that are available for people within the community. So oftentimes we have guest speakers from local agencies, for example, domestic violence shelters or even organ donation specialists and centers. They come in, they discuss about what they do and how they're available, providing students with hotlines, connecting students to even resources within the school, such as student assistance counselors or guidance counselors that are available to talk to.
It's unbelievable that students can go through so much in life at that early age.
I mean, this is the kind of country that we live in where
हम तो कभी जब हम स्कूल जाते थे, everyone thought
everything was all okay.
हाँ, everything was perfect.
वहाँ पे तो स्कूलों में बच्चों के हाथ पे डंडे पड़ जाते थे, it was all okay. But Sarah, coming back to the things that you were mentioning,
yes.
You're telling us that you actually deal with the issues of the student on all of these levels.
Absolutely.
And you of course you're trained to do that. Yes. So it's okay that you do it, but isn't it hard? Isn't it stressful?
It is, and I have considered actually going towards a degree in counseling because I enjoy helping people, but it does emotionally take a toll, and sometimes it can be difficult to disconnect. And I enjoy actually being in the classroom so that I can be somebody who may connect students to other resources that they may need, and sometimes it's just as simple as having a trusted adult that they can talk to. I always definitely encourage students to talk to their parents and keep their parents in the loop about whatever issues they're having, because by default I think students spend so much of their day in school or maybe after school activities like sports and they may go to coaches or something. So I think it's definitely important that we're bringing a lot of these issues to the table and making students aware of them, and then also being available to help and connect them with others who can help them too.
But we're coming to the parents. I think our viewers should understand the importance that a parent has in trying to see if there is something wrong. The communication between the parent and child has to be so important. इतना important होना चाहिए कि जो parent जो ना बच्चा आके माँ बाप से बोले कि somebody is bothering me, कोई स्कूल में मुझे ये कर रहा है या मुझे ये stress है मेरे पास, या without being afraid that the parent won't understand. So हमारे parents they need to be more open and relatable to the children.
Absolutely. And it can start as something as simple as a headline in the news and bringing that up at the dinner table, and just keeping dialogues open so that, you know, the students can feel like they can actually go to their parents. I've definitely had students who are Muslim or Desi come to me and just saying, I don't know how to talk to my parents about these things, or they'll never understand, or they don't want to listen, or they just say no, they never want to hear my side. So communication is something that I discuss a lot in my classes as well. And that can fit under that social umbrella that we were discussing before about social health. Communication skills are so important, and it's interesting that it's something that you can teach, but we discuss how something as simple as your tone or your body language or the way that you're phrasing things can impact not just what you're saying, but how the other person is receiving that message.
Yes, wow. This is really a
So
science.
can you imagine? I mean, it happens between adults, like between a husband and wife. Oh, you talk to me in this way, you talk to me. But imagine if it's a child.
Right.
You know, if the way you talk to your child is so important, and your tone and your, you know, availability for that child, तो बहुत ज़रूरी है.
And I think by the end of the day, students are tired, parents are tired from work or whatever their responsibilities are during the day, but it's definitely important to take the time to communicate with each other, and just keep those lines open so that if there is a situation where there is a problem, then they will feel comfortable enough to go to their parents and not rely solely on teachers and school professionals.
You know, after hearing you, I think I would talk to our viewers and I would say to them that, you know, you have children at home, and I'm talking to our people, you know, हम पाकिस्तानी मुसलमान लोग या जो भी साउथ एशियन लोग हैं जो हमारा प्रोग्राम देख रहे हैं, मैं उनसे कहूँगा कि आपको ये चाहिए कि अपने बच्चों के साथ अपनी कम्युनिकेशन लाइन ओपन करें, अपने बेटों से अपनी बेटियों से बातचीत करें, उनसे पूछें कि किसी किस्म का स्ट्रेस तो नहीं है, स्कूल में सब कुछ ठीक है, कोई पीयर प्रेशर या कुछ और कोई बुलिंग तो नहीं है. ये पेरेंट्स का भी फ़र्ज़ है कि वो करें. और सारा ने भी बताया कि वो चाहते हैं कि स्टूडेंट के जो पेरेंट हैं वो इन्वॉल्व हो ताकि ये मसाइल कम से कम होते जाएं. यहाँ से मैं बात करता हुआ दूसरी सारा से बात करूँगा. सारा अमीन, डॉक्टर अमीन से. डॉक्टर अमीन, आप डॉक्टर ऑफ फार्मेसी हैं, तो जो मुझे पता है कि फार्मासिस्ट बहुत सी किस्म के फार्मासिस्ट होते हैं, जैसे क्लिनिकल फार्मासिस्ट हैं या रिटेल फार्मासिस्ट होते हैं या मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फार्मासिस्ट होते हैं. आप किस किस्म की फार्मासिस्ट हैं?
I'm a hospital pharmacist.
You're a hospital, so that's a clinical pharmacist?
Yes. So
same thing.
Well, it's a little bit. Sometimes the roles can be intertwined a little bit.
Okay.
So the clinical pharmacist solely does patient rounds, whereas the hospital pharmacist would also fill orders and, you know, prescriptions. But where I work in the hospital setting, I conduct both patient rounds as well as working in the main. So on any given day, it's, you know, it could always be variable.
Okay. So you are clinical pharmacist, but you do fill prescriptions.
Correct,
you said.
right.
Okay. And do you go on rounds also with your doctors?
Yes. So I round on around 3 to 4 different units.
Okay.
I round on oncology patients, post-surgical patients, like after surgery, rehab patients, as well as patients who are being monitored, like on cardiac monitors.
So, मतलब तुम doctors के साथ जाते हो to the patients, and then you can advise them on what medication that they should, you know, give to the.
So you're advising doctors also.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
Mashallah.
You have a master's in medicine, so why not?
So basically, what happens during rounds is it's an interdisciplinary team. So there's multiple, you know, multiple mid-level practitioners, PAs or NPs, as well as physicians. Those are the attendings, and then there's nurses and there's nurses, nutritionists, social workers. It's you know, they want to we want to work together to kind of optimize patient care.
Right.
So they'll go over patients and they'll kind of say, this is what happened overnight, or this is the background of the patient. let's see what we can do to address the certain issues so that they can be better and then they can get discharged and go home.
So do you think कि पाकिस्तान में भी ऐसी होता है? Do you know that?
Well, I'm not sure in Pakistan, but I think in Pakistan there is more of a hierarchy. Okay. So it is a little bit, I guess the final say would always come to the doctor. But sometimes, I think, especially in America, we've seen that because sometimes patients fall through the cracks. Right. And certain things are, it could be dealt with better. If let's say there's a patient who can't swallow anymore for some reason, they're getting a tube down their nose or something. So they're gonna talk to, they're a doctor and they know the medicines and they know the disease states, but do they know how do they optimize the nutrition and the route of the medication? So as the pharmacist, they can approach me and say, these are the medications. Some of these medications, they can't go down the tubes. Right. How do we fix this?
Intravenously.
And, then we'll go intravenously or we'll do liquid or we'll get some sort of formulation that they can take via nasogastric tube. And then they'll ask the nutritionist, how will we get them nutrition? How will we feed them? And then the nutritionist will say, this is what I advise.
Wow.
So it makes it a better circumstance.
It's a total science here also.
Yeah.
Dr. Umar, do you take advice from your wife?
All the time.
Good boy.
ये बताइए कि
vice versa too, I'm sure.
Vice versa, I'm sure.
I mean, as I found that when pharmacists will call me with an issue, especially with a drug interaction with drugs that I don't typically manage, right. I'll defer to them often because they know more about different medications and how they interact with one another. So I'll definitely take their advice on these matters.
आपके जो typical patients हैं, youngsters होते हैं या older people
or athletes or
so I see mostly adults, mostly older patients with spinal issues, arthritis, pain issues in their joints. I also treat a lot of athletes, student athletes at major universities. So that's also very challenging because any patient has their own unique needs and requirements. So, for example, someone who is older and not as mobile and they're in pain, they need a certain amount of treatment to get to where they need to be, where they can sit comfortably and do the daily tasks at a efficient level. But for example, with athletes, there's a whole different kind of pressure because they have scholarships and they need to be back on the field or back on the court. So you have to kind of manage those expectations and adjust your treatment accordingly, because sometimes what they need is to get back on the field may be different from what they need to function as adults. So you always have to balance these factors.
So you said you use your hands a lot in treating your patients?
Well, that is one treatment that DOs learn.
So it's like chiropractor kind of, or like therapy? Or?
No, it's not. We don't typically use our hands as much as chiropractors. I mean, I mainly treat using traditional methods such as medications, and I do spinal injections and such.
Right. Okay. You are spine intervention say it.
I am an interventional spine specialist.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so if I come to you for that I have cold, would you prescribe me some medicine or?
For a cold, typically, probably not.
I have a cough, so I need something for my cough.
I think Sarah can answer that.
You can take lozenges, like Cepacol lozenges, or anything guafenazine, like Robitussin with dextromethorphan, DM. That would suppress
for the
cough.
Scratchiness, and my मेरी आवाज तो जा रही है. I don't know कहाँ जा रही, but जा रही है.
But when you go to a pharmacy and you try and talk to a pharmacist and ask for some kind of medication, they normally don't prescribe anything because that's not their job.
Well, sometimes what happens is if there's anything over the counter, they can obviously
you can ask for advice.
Tell you what to take, and a lot of times patients do come in the retail setting and say, I have a cough, what should I do? So, there's tons of questions. Is it a productive cough? Is there mucus? Is it a dry cough?
Right.
A lot of these things will tell us what is happening and what needs to be done to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Like if it's mucousy, then we have to break down the mucus.
Right.
If it's a dry cough, we need to stop.
Right.
We need to suppress the cough.
Suppress it.
right. सारा इमादी आपके जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं जब उनको इश्यूज होते हैं तो do you or your school recommends them to go to the doctors यानी psychiatrist kind of?
Usually schools have employed within the district school psychologists.
Okay.
They may have social workers that are, part of the school. So there's definitely a lot of resources within the school. And if those individuals are not able to help, then they can definitely help the students and their families to find resources within the community.
So do you have parent meetings with you?
Yeah, so all teachers have open like parent-teacher nights, and then I always stress to my students as well as to their parents that email, phone call, meetings after school are all options that are.
मेरे जहन में एक सवाल ये आ रहा है कि did you ever meet a parent who sort of disagreed with you about their child?
Yeah.
Right. They come out and say, no, you're wrong. Teacher, you're wrong. My child is not like that. Right?
I think, actually more along the lines of topics that are being discussed. So because it is health and we cover so many different things, one of the parts of that is reproductive health and sexual education. And I think especially within the Muslim and South Asian community, again, it's a topic that is very sensitive. A lot of people are not comfortable discussing it, especially in a mixed classroom where there's boys and girls.
Yeah.
So I have had parents ask if their student could be removed, but there are actually state requirements of what subjects are supposed to be taught within each grade or requirements before graduation. And at least I know within New York and New Jersey, reproductive health and sexual education is part of the curriculum and is something that is required for students. So I always share that with the parents, and their remedy is often, can you do it after school as a one-on-one thing? And I say, how much more awkward could it get for that student? I have no problem doing it, but that would be incredibly awkward for them. Whereas at least if you're in a classroom with your peers, we crack jokes, we make it a little bit more lighthearted, and
it's not that personal.
Exactly, and it's less awkward, and thankfully most of the parents will understand after their nerves being calmed a little bit, and.
But I would assume a lot of parents would be relieved. Oh, thank God I don't have to discuss that with my child, let the teacher, tell them. I think ऐसे भी होता है ना कि.
Well, there's also so much information that's available on the internet, so it's really important now, more than ever, for parents and teachers to make sure that they're giving the right information, because people, I'm sure, may go on WebMD and self-diagnose, about that I have this problem or that problem, right? And, put me on this medicine. I saw a commercial and that sounded like me. So, same.
आजकल तो internet is,
I think
too much.
Dr. Umar, time is coming when people are not going to be needing doctors, because everything is on internet. People read and they prescribe themselves some medication and all that. So what's happening in
Well, that's definitely an issue. I mean, for me personally, I like my patients to be informed.
Right.
So I actually personally like it if my patients come and have a list of questions to ask me, and especially if they saw something on the internet, I'd rather them ask me rather than assume and then do something wrong that could be detrimental to their health. So it's always good to be informed and ask. But yes, it
is happening. It is happening. People don't have time to go to the doctors. They would rather turn their computers on और उसमें सब कुछ पढ़ के और अपने लिए डॉक्टर को कॉल करेंगे कि हमें ये दवा प्रेस्क्राइब कर दें. And they would have all the argument, in favor of that medication.
Right. And that happens from time to time, but unfortunately, you have to tell them that I trained a long time to get here, so so you have to really trust your doctor's advice.
I'll give you an example of my own son. My son was born with cerebral palsy, so he's a grown-up kid, and mashallah, he's doing very well. So he went to the doctor, this neurologist, and he started talking to neurologist, and neurologist started looking at his face and says, "My God," his name is Umar also, by the way, and he said, "You know so much about it, and the words that you're using, please don't, because you make making me nervous. So,
Again, the internet.
आजकल के बच्चे ऐसे हो गए हैं बहरहाल you know of course the need for a pain doctor can never go away because I do have sciatica, so I'm going to talk to you about it later. But in the meantime we have time for our break, so हम फिर छोटी सी एक break लेते हैं और break लेके इंशाल्लाह जल्दी वापस आते हैं.
Please stay with us. We'll be right back.